Hey, Bruce. There are my edits for the job description. Okay. Good morning, everybody. I'd like to officially call the city council meeting, which is a continuation of our meeting from September 18th, 23, 30th, and October 8th and 21st to order. It is 9:01 a.m. The first item on our agenda is, again, the continuation of the organization structure, admin, clerk, and finance department. At our last meeting, we were not ready and detailed as a council to come together and go through the job description for the city administrator slash clerk position that we motioned as a council. And so we wanted to come back and do that. So I don't know if everyone here had a chance to go through and make their edits, changes. Sorry, I'm trying to find a pen. What I passed out from my end, I titled it wrong. It's supposed to say city administrator clerk. I went through the existing job description of the city administrator slash treasurer and the city clerk, and then looked at past job descriptions as well before the administrator structure was in Nisswa. And I kind of tried to compile and take what was already there and note additions and then areas where things could potentially move to other departments. So that's what I passed out to all of you guys with the two handouts. The first one, it says city administrator treasurer, but it's supposed to say clerk, not treasurer. And the second one is just a one pager that says move the following items from the existing clerk job description to the deputy clerk, and then move the following items from the existing clerk to the finance specialist. So those are just my thoughts, but I'll let everyone take a moment to look over those. And Councilmember Zahn just walked in, so we'll give him a moment. Why don't I start, Joe, with you? Councilmember Fraley asked me to go to him last since he ran in from a different situation, so.
What do you want me to?
Well,
First.
yeah, our goal is to,
Do we want to start with the city administrator?
why don't we start with the,
Sure.
yeah, the new, well, the city administrator clerk is the position we
Okay.
approved. So why don't we start with that one?
I guess as far as the job description goes, maybe a couple things to add or talk about, would be, just how they, what we want them to do as far as, I'm thinking of our projects in the city, you know. And I've talked to some other staff about this. Are they gonna lead the projects? Are they gonna hand it off to somebody? You know, they're doing the coordination on the back end. So let's just take the roundabout project that we had out from a Grandview here a couple years ago. Are we looking for somebody that is the city administrator that is gonna be always the lead for that project? Or do we want them to be handing projects like that off? Another example, downtown master plan, stuff like that. And define that. Am I making sense on what I'm asking? You know?
Yeah.
Are they gonna, are
So
we
like
gonna
the
want-
department heads would run it and just have the administrator be like,
They're like the air traffic
Guidance.
controller, right?
instead of having the administrator saying, hey, this is what you need to do and run it like that, have the department heads run the,
Correct.
right? And then just have the administrator kind of like make sure it is being done.
Right. I just, I guess what I'm saying is I want to make sure that's somehow clearly defined in here. So we don't get where the city administrator person, it would not be my goal at all to have them running these different projects. I actually want to keep them out and looking more at the 50,000 square view of stuff where they don't, where they are appropriately handing it off to the correct staff within the city. And I guess I would want to make that clearly defined, in here. That would.
So are you, Joe, just to be clear, so as it is organized right now, the current structure, the city administrator really is kind of the conduit or the lead for like basically key project manager.
Right.
So you're saying instead of having them be the core in that position where they're the project facilitator, so they're not establishing timelines, tracking progress, organizing, keeping people communicated, that's going to the department heads and they're just there as needed? I just want to make sure I'm understanding.
Yeah, they're
what you're
as
saying.
needed, but I don't actually see the city administrator's role to run a park project, to run a public works project, to run a downtown master plan project. Yeah, I want to see it work differently and actually rely on our staff that we have to do it. And potentially, um, uh, maybe a new person that we don't even currently have on staff for the projects, like the trail. We just came off the trail. That's a pretty in-depth management project that I think was outside of, a general scope for like even Amber's role,
Mhm.
and as we continue to look ahead, with our property that we've just purchased, stay at the 50,000 square foot view, but for instance, let Tom run with the engineer on how the infrastructure would be laid out down there and coordinate how that would go. If there'd be another park down there, let Amber kind of figure that out, but they aren't going to be the lead project manager for us in all these areas.
So if we were doing, like in the corporate world, everyone talks about the RACI charts, responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed. So they'd be more consulted and informed, and responsible, accountable would fall to the department heads.
Correct. Yeah.
Feedback on that? Councilmember Fraley? Councilmember London?
Good.
Councilmember Zahn?
Well, how is it being done differently, I guess, for like right now, like talk about how it's structured right now? So if there's a project that falls within Tom's department, a lift station, a road bond, project like it's gonna be coming up here, Tom would be essentially the captain of that project. The city administrator would be supporting and consoling through the process, should be,
Right.
right? And has that not been the case?
Correct. That has not been historically the case here.
Okay, so that city administrator,
Am I correct? Okay.
so the city admin,
The roundabout in 77 would be the best example. Yeah.
and that'd probably go even as far as up to the council, right? Like if it's a department head that is going to be captaining the project as the quote project manager for their specific department, it falls on that department head. Is that what you're kind of leaning towards?
Right. Yep.
Council doesn't have any need to be getting engaged on the day-to-day of that project. Now, what about the liaison for that specific department head?
Yeah. So liaison, I would see them working with the department head, kind of. Yeah.
Sorry, I know that's a whole other discussion, but for this, we're supposed to just be talking about like the job descriptions and.
Well, I
getting-
think that plays into,
Right.
how this would work. And so for the job description, I guess I'm not sure how we want to clearly define that. But I do want to make it clear right off the get-go that, we do want this person to understand that, they're to allow the department heads to excel in the different areas that they specialize in.
Right.
And I'll just say that's kind of my, looking at the past, looking at some of the stuff, whatever, trying to move forward in a positive direction. I'd say that's one big thing that I'd like to see tweaked or changed to make sure that it's accounted that way.
So looking at the job functions of the city administrator, you'd be suggesting, Joe, to outline that city administrator would be
Yeah,
there to support and further support on coordination of special projects
correct.
within those departments?
Yep, and to delegate responsibilities to different department heads. So, yeah, I guess without maybe everyone up here clearly understanding kind of what's taking place, and like I say, the roundabout would probably be the best example, right, immediately. Do you have any input, Tom, that you could help clarify for the rest of them?
When we first hired the city administrator in the past, if we were talking about a road project, from the engineering to the construction of it, that would have been my purview. More of the finance and some of the business end of it. So for instance, the bonding and that kind of thing would have fallen underneath the administrator to coordinate. You know, myself or the engineer would be letting that person know, this is the project we want to build, this is what it's going to cost. And they would have taken it from there and dealt with PFM or the state or whoever they have to deal with to figure out how to make it fit within the budget and work for the city. I would like to see something more like that, I guess, moving
Right.
forward. I don't think an administrator should be concerning themselves with, how much asphalt, for instance, we put into a project, or the timing of construction so much, maybe, unless it's dealing with, say, entities, say it's such as, I don't know, one of the larger businesses in town, resort.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
agree. So, like the roundabout project out there, Tom, I'm not gonna speak for him, but he wasn't involved in the weekly meetings or progress meetings or anything. He just wasn't even at those meetings. And
But the
I-
project fell within your privy mainly, right?
Right, yeah,
Some of that too, probably why some of that happened is it was a county project more than a state, or excuse me, more than a city project. And so the county liked going to the administrator as a simple communication conduit, I guess, for them. They weren't copying me on things, and unfortunately, it also wasn't being copied from the administrator to my level either, so.
So it would be more of a bullet point that would simply read something to the effect of just assist and support department heads as needed on special projects and while maintaining high-level communication with the city council to ensure alignment with the organizational priorities.
I think. Emphasis
Something to
point-
that effect,
Yeah,
right?
but emphasis point on, like assisting department heads on department specific projects, right?
Yeah.
Like, so projects within Tom's purview would not. be-
As needed.
Yeah, as needed for the department, no different than if there was a parks project. It's really kind of it's those two realms mainly where the projects are gonna be coming in from. Right?
planning and zoning though, stuff like that too, just let.
So
planning
how
and
about,
zoning people run it.
how about this? Assisting department heads on department-specific projects as needed while maintaining high-level communication with the council to ensure alignment with our organizational or strategic priorities that the council sets. Instead of organizational, strategic.
It'll always be cloudy, because you take something like the trail and there's always some parks issues and public works issues on a project like that usually. Usually they're coordinated with a road project, and so that'd probably be another duty of a city administrator is to help coordinate between departments in a bigger project like that. So that, say for instance, the park doesn't get overshadowed by the importance of the road that's being built.
I mean, if you're effectively the project manager, right?
Mhm.
You own the purse. You own the purse of the project. meaning your thumb is on everything pertaining to that specific project, right?
Right, well, what normally would happen is say when, as they're working through a project, they always, you get a pay application like we've had for the building here.
Yep.
And so usually in the past, I've been the one who approves those. Only lately have we moved to the city administrator approving that. And then it comes to the city council for a final approval. But like change orders, there was more freedom for me to deal with change orders. Now we find ourselves limited, I guess. And I know Joe has brought this up, you know, when we talk about, say, for instance, the dollar limit that I would have to work with change orders. It's so small that it's inconsequential because the order of magnitude is wrong. You know, most of the change orders on $1 million project start at 5 figures. My authority's at 4,
9,900,
like 2,500.
2,500.
2,500.
So, but that's more in the policy thing that we're gonna get to then.
Yeah, that will
You
be
know,
in the second,
that's-
that's in the
yeah.
second part.
So like,
So,
another example would be like the downtown master plan here. I would view that, you know, to be ran by both, in this case, Tom and Steven to tag team a project like that. That they would be the ones coordinating a project like that versus the city administrator directly.
so how do we feel about the language I threw out for the bullet? Because I think we're now understanding the,
I'm absolutely comfortable with it.
I can read it again. So I wrote assisting, and again, we can make this clear when we're in the interviews with the
Right.
individual too. Assisting department heads on department-specific and special projects as needed while maintaining high-level communication with the council to ensure alignment with strategic priorities.
I think.
I'm
it's
good.
fair. I think it's
Bruce?
fair.
I like that as needed.
As needed, and that's, and assisting, right?
Right.
So again, if it's a racy chart, they're not responsible and accountable, they're consulted and informed.
As needed or required.
I can
Yeah, that sounds
say
better.
special on a project as needed / or required. Yep, that's fine. Did you have any other key items, Joe?
I guess, I think that was probably my biggest one that I wanted to, you know, kind of put in there to make sure that, you know, got addressed.
Okay, council members on.
Apologies for being late. So if you're looking at the city administrator / treasurer sheet that was at the top of each packet, I just, for ease of going through these bullet points, I number them 1 through 12. There are 12 that are listed here. So going down to the 5th one, we already kind of discussed this at the last meeting. It states, coordinates the city budget process and capital improvement planning, recommends budget and fiscal policy to the city council. I'm suggesting striking coordinates and replacing it with something to the effects of supports treasurer as needed or required on that process. I saw a theme between the 3 that we have. So city administrator, city clerk, and finance specialist. There's a lot of cross departments, right? So this might be a little bit of a work in progress for us to try to realign. So I don't think it'll be too much. So that's my first one on that. The next one is number 10, works with financial consultants, bond counsel, TIF funds, and auditors in coordination with treasurer as needed or required. So mainly like to move those 2 to the finance specialist / treasurer. Then I created a new one, number 13, supports council on, I've discussed this in the past. We have council turnover essentially every 2 years with the 2 council seats coming up and the mayoral seat coming up every 2 years. So I think it's important for this council and future councils, as there's potential for a 3-person change every 2 years, to understand the comp plan and to kind of bless their version of the comp plan as they were elected. And they'll be fulfilling those terms to establish or reestablish the Nisswa comprehensive plan every 2 years per council turnover window. So I see that as kind
Wait,
of.
can you read it again? Sorry.
So I wrote, supports council on reestablishing Nisswa comprehensive plan every 2 years per council turnover. And that can be reworded, but,
Okay.
does that all make sense?
Yep. So that's an addition.
Then I drew up another one, for number 14, facilitates economic development authority. I know that's very gray right now. We're not at the point where we even have information to put one in place, but I know Steven's working on it. And, Steve, you think November meeting?
Sorry, I'm losing my voice.
I don't think it's been scheduled
It
yet.
has not been scheduled. It's just one of those things that I have to follow up from the last October's council meeting to figure out when it works for Tyler and the council to be here to, and James, Jane.
Yeah, we have a couple speakers that can come and talk about, what's worked well in their municipalities before. We have James Krambeck from Brainerd, and then Tyler Glenn, who works with other municipalities on more of a contractual basis for EDA implementation
Okay.
on a spectrum.
So I mean, I think we're all
Yep.
on the same page that we would like to have an economic development authority to be able to help drive.
I'm not sure that I'm not sure that I would like to put the city administrator person in charge of all that, only because then that keeps us with the council, because it's really our vision for that through this, and that they would help assist, facilitate, but I would like to keep the actual drive of that with the council and not with the city administrator.
So in response to that, then, as I stated already, there's some cross duties here that need to be advised. We have for the financial specialist piece, one essential function is takes and prepares minutes for planning commission and Parks and Rec advisory commission meetings, provides administrative support for the planning and zoning department. So if an EDA is established, we're going to need to designate somebody from the city side to be able to accommodate. And if it's not the city administrator, it's likely going to need to be.
It would be the administrator clerk.
I
I would think.
I would be in favor of having it be the city administrator / clerk.
Yeah.
So would I.
Now, like authority of like quarterbacking it, I don't think, without having too much information on like how an EDA will be structured here or could be, we can modify that EDA piece.
We could say for now, supports council as needed with economic development authority and assists with committee meetings.
I like that.
Mhm.
Yep. I like
And
that.
again, if we have to modify as we go into it, as Councilmember Zahn said, we can, but this at least just gives us a baseline for the job description when the search firm is out looking, so candidates aren't surprised.
Then my only last other piece on this was the title, city administrator /
Clerk.
clerk.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Any feedback?
Are we just going one by one on
Yeah,
the three
well-
positions? Okay, all right.
Any feedback?
I'm good with it as far as this city administrator and the clerk
Slash
thing.
clerk,
Yeah.
yep, okay. Mark? Okay, so the changes I had, I gave you guys kind of the handout. The two things I put is serves as a key liaison between the mayor, city council, and staff, proactively connecting, I said connecting, whichever one, with the mayor and all council members prior to meetings to clarify issues, answer questions, and ensure understanding of agenda items. And then on the back side, following council meetings, debriefs with staff and department heads to ensure clarity around council direction, developing, actionable plans and coordinating follow-up as needed. So basically what I'm trying to say here, and this actually came from when we had one of the interims, Tim Cruikshank here, is he had indicated in the previous cities he worked on, he always reached out and called every council member the week prior to every council meeting, once the agenda was out in the packet, to say, hey, have you had a chance to review it? What can I help answer, clarify before you get into a council meeting to help streamline things, anything that you think might need to be brought up, et cetera, related. And then on the back end, however, council actioned to make sure staff was clear, hey, council action this. So, hey, department head A, this falls under you, you know, council action, this, department head B, this falls under you, to ensure that there's forward moving progress on everything. And that's essentially all I was trying to say with that feedback. I think it would help improve that communication gap that we've continued to hear over and over.
I'm an advocate of not having to, I'm not an advocate of being a minimalist. Like, you know, these job duties and, I mean, they're called essential functions, but really the job duties and responsibilities don't need to be kind of condensed, right?
Yep.
That creates a gray area. My business, we try to spell it out as much as we can. Like, you're likely gonna be lifting 15 pounds at your job duty, right? Whether it's a box of paper or you name it. So giving as much clarity of what that piece will be when it comes to these meetings and who's preparing the agenda, who's putting together the topics. In past life, we would get, I think, weekly. I mean, Mark, I know you were here for it, and Joe, you probably got some. Jenny Max would send us frequently like weekly reports, right? And it was just odds and ends, right? But it was sometimes enough to keep us all fluent, right? I enjoyed that. And also when there was communication from private citizens, right? Emails that were sent to her or to a department head, they would then be relayed to us prior to the meeting via email, and then a paper copy would be here too, giving us all the information as best possible. I like it.
I think the most important thing is, right, and this is, we've been in this period of gray for a while now, is we're all equally elected. We all should have access to the same information, and no one council member should have more information than the other, because that's how we can come together and have the most robust, informed conversation and dialogue here to make motions. But if only one knows this or one knows that, it becomes disjointed, and, you know, that kind of defeats the spirit of what, being a public servant and local governance is about.
Can I add to that?
Yeah.
I mean, perhaps another function for the city administrators to do just that, let's task the city administrator to prepare, even if it's brief, a weekly report on city news, city projects, city progress, or related state statute news like Jenny would do from League of Minnesota Cities, and just share it.
Yeah.
It'll keep us all in the loop, right? For the sake of, to your point, right? I think even if you add that in there for this reason, for broader transparency across the board.
Okay, so adding to that, prepare a weekly report on city news, work progress, applicable state legislative action, citizen feedback, et cetera, to the council.
And perhaps another one, since we're on a roll, your newsletters, right?
Yeah.
Those are great.
We did say at the beginning of the year, we wanted to do 2, but we only approved the budget to do the one in April. It would be nice to, if we could do a December, early December one to folks, or if we just want to wait until January and then do like January, June.
So the fiscal budgeting piece is strictly for like the materials going out in the mail, is that right?
Yeah.
Do you think that, maybe if you stuck to that quarterly or
I think twice annually.
twice a year?
Twice a year.
Doesn't mean we couldn't still have one on a, maybe if you're doing 4 a year, but you're only mailing 2 of them,
Mhm.
would the residents appreciate that more?
I know the residents were very appreciative of the one we did in April, but we haven't done one since.
So if we did one quarterly, but maybe only mailed the second quarter and fourth quarter ones out, you still hit your
Yep,
budget.
April and
The other ones can be digital.
October.
Yeah.
And the others can be. Would we want to put coordination of that in the city administrator clerk? Yeah, or the deputy clerk,
Deputy clerk.
deputy clerk. If it's just, because if it's just, the department heads are all writing their own sections and it's just collecting and handing to the designer, the deputy clerk, that could go in there.
What do you think about doing a newsletter quarterly, but then having two paper ones?
That was our original plan at the beginning of the year and it just kind
Really?
of fell apart. Yeah, it was exactly what you said.
Q1's digital, Q2's paper
Yep.
and digital, Q3's digital, Q4.
Or is paper.
Oh, all right. I like that. I like that.
Okay. Did you have other items? Oh, no, I was on mine. Okay. Let's see. All right, I had put also from Jesse, as you had numbered them 1 to 12. Number 7.
Mhm.
Develops and recommends policies to the city council in consultation with department heads. I had crossed this one out and here's why. Because if all of our policies inherently are, I didn't know if it meant policies like personnel policies or if it meant other policies, but if it's personnel policies, I know that there has been interest from council, from what I've heard, in having not just one person, the city administrator slash clerk, being able to have full authority over the policies and to have it, as we're doing today, action through council. But if I am misinterpreting what that bullet point means, then maybe me crossing it out was incorrect.
Since we're all attorneys up here, right? It's all interpretation. My interpretation of number 7 would be develops and recommends policies to the city council. So I don't like the word develops. Because
Recommends.
Yeah, because that would indicate, here, go ahead and write a policy and then further recommend it to the council with feedback from department heads. I like the collaboration, but perhaps it's initiating wasted effort if the council wouldn't be on board with it.
Maybe we change it to cross out the word develops and it just is recommends policies to the city council in consultation with department heads. Because actually now one that's coming to mind is that special events permit, right? That is a policy that would come to council, but it would be in conjunction with multiple department heads.
It's a part of the next topic or the next agenda item, the personnel policy. You know, we've talked about the personnel committee not having maybe having its gray areas, but not having its true bylaws. You know, this is what your tasks are. If we want to provide the city administrator slash department heads that feedback, if they have a suggestion for a policy change, it should probably go to, does it need to go to the council immediately on a broad venue, or can it first go to that personnel committee? The personnel
You're
committee
talking
says,
about personnel policies only.
yep,
Yeah, it should go to the, ideally.
which is why, one, we got to spell that out
Oh, I
on this
have a
one.
draft of that
And
too.
then 2,
Yeah.
outline what the personnel committee is expected to do and only permitted to do. That makes sense.
Okay. I had also added, so I took a look at the city clerk description and again, some were crossover in areas, right? And looked at how do we have to shift those to other job descriptions. So the ones I shifted were serves as the city's primary resource for customer service and general requests for information and assists with various city activities within all city departments, functions as custodian of all city records, ordinances, resolutions, policies, etc. So that's just records. Responds to data requests, administers elections, issues liquor license, maintains records for the city cemetery.
It's hilarious.
Oh, you
Those are
moved the same ones?
Those are the
Okay.
same 3
So
that
those are the ones I moved from the clerk to the new administrator clerk.
Wait, move
From
them to the finance specialist job description.
oh no, I moved those to the administrator slash clerk.
Wait a second.
You moved them to the finance specialist?
Which ones?
Okay,
Move
like
the following items from
administers elections, issues liquor license, maintains records for city cemetery, functions as the custodian of all city records, ordinances, resolutions, etc., responds to data requests, right? So to me, data requests would go to the administrator clerk. The elections would fall under administrator clerk. issuing liquor license, administrator, clerk, and then city cemetery.
We're on
all-
we're on the same page. I was just specifically looking at these three you had here,
Oh, yep, and
of
then,
moving them
sorry, not
from,
finance specialist, I'm still on this one. I gave you another sheet.
but you want to pull these ones, right?
Yep, and put
And
those
move
under
them.
finance specialist.
I'm on board.
Okay. But is everyone in alignment or have a different perspective? Okay,
I've-
then that's all I had for,
I have a question for Maggie in that regard. If those three functions were to move from the deputy clerk slash admin assistant to the finance specialist, they are Maggie. If you're looking at the clerk sheet.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It'd be number 7, 8, and 9.
Payroll, taxes, and benefits, is that the ones you're talking about?
yep, payroll, Pura withholding, quarterly reports, W-2s, employee benefits.
Appropriate?
Yes.
Okay.
And then what I had moving to deputy clerk from city clerk is ordering supplies, maintaining the city calendar and the city website. And then I wasn't sure if this should go here or not, but taking and preparing minutes for public works.
Because Public Works is not listed on
Right,
either of these
on
three,
either.
yep.
And that's all I had.
I'm good on the deputy clerk, so we got city admin slash clerk. We have the deputy clerk slash admin assistant. Stacked hands on, I believe.
Yep.
Okay, so the last one is the financial specialist slash treasurer.
So the only changes I had to that are, you already discussed one from the city administrator. I had moved 3. I didn't have anything else. I don't know if you guys,
This was the one from the city administrator.
it was number 5. Coordinate
yeah.
the city's budget, so supporting the treasurer as needed. So then that bullet point would go over to the finance specialist, maybe with a caveat saying, and receiving support from the admin clerk as needed,
Got it.
right?
Jesse, you also had to move number 10 in
That's right.
coordination with the treasurer. as
and number
needed
10.
required.
I have an idea.
I didn't have anything else
Why
there.
don't we also number these, so. It makes it easier. Okay, so on the finance specialist slash treasurer, adding, of course, slash treasurer. If you look at number 5, assist the city administrator in preparation for the annual budget and levy. We discussed moving that already, right? Or
Correct.
amending
Yeah,
that
we
to,
discussed.
okay, yep.
Yeah.
Number 6, performs administrative support for the police department, including entry of dispositions, completion of tape statements, on and on. This is all police-related items that Janelle, excuse
So
me.
we'd remove,
Yep.
okay,
I just kind of serve as her backup because I
Yep.
know how to do it. So when she's gone, basic stuff, but it doesn't need to be in here.
Okay. I think we can strike that.
yeah, I think we take it
There's
out.
any opposition? Okay. Then number 7. Oh, no, there is no number 7. I got it backwards. To clarify, Mayor Carnahan, you said the next one, so that would be number 7, takes and prepares minutes for planning commission and park and recs advisory commission meetings. Adding public works, and then also being administrative support for P and Z, that is gonna be moved to
Deputy.
deputy.
Yep.
Great, okay. And then number 10, assist with updating the city meeting calendar and city website.
That I moved to deputy clerk,
Got it?
because that's more,
Yeah, absolutely.
entry level, yeah.
Yeah. We talked about in the past communication specialist, right? Or it's
That's
been,
kind of the deputy clerk for right now.
but do we need to outline that any further in the deputy clerk's?
I don't have that job description in front of me. Do we?
No, you don't. I was trying to,
let
look it
me-
up, but I don't have oh, I probably do here though.
Website, meeting calendar, social media,
Yep.
um,
I thought social media was under deputy clerk,
I can't recall.
like the Facebook page.
I'm pulling it up. Hang tight, guys.
Like, does the city have an Instagram, a TikTok, a Twitter,
No.
all
I
that?
think it has a Twitter, but I don't think anyone.
So this is
uses
the
it.
job description that was approved, a few weeks ago. For our deputy clerk. I'm trying to zoom in, guys.
Can't see it.
It's just going so slow. Hang tight.
Should we just print it?
Is that better?
Mhm.
I'm afraid if I go one more, it won't fit across the.
Yeah, see all that's captured in there already.
You know, since we're talking about it, we got a little bit of time. Maggie, could you print a few of these for us?
Sure,
Sorry.
that's all right.
Because I'm already seeing one, like number 2, right?
See that far?
Assist with accounts payable, accounts receivables, and enters in daily receipts for the pickle and spirits.
I forgot to give.
Yes, the job is posted.
Correct.
Yes.
Yep.
But doesn't mean we can't amend it.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry, I missed your comment, though.
Item number 2 on this.
Yes.
I mean, I just moved that
Let
over
me
to you.
just-
No?
I can't see.
I mean, I'm a rock star and all, but
No.
Yeah, especially on the daily stuff. Why aren't the managers doing the daily stuff?
Because they got, in their mind, they have bookkeeper.
oh, no, what those mean is all of the receipts for every day for pickle and spirits have to be entered in our system. So they make a deposit, we have to balance it with our bank account. And so they're really just entering transactions. Like,
Okay.
this is how much,
So if they're essentially then assisting
yeah,
you,
yes,
they're doing data entry,
yes,
but as we call it, the purse, the full responsibility of APAR receipts for those businesses.
Yeah.
So you're verifying their data is,
yep,
you're putting your name on their work.
yep.
You are a rock star.
Okay, social media is on here already.
Receives. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so going down to number 7, receives and prepares payments and bank deposits. Payments like what? Like P and Z fees?
Yes,
Yeah.
some sewer payments,
Sewer payments,
Sewer payments.
yep,
But
payments
that's,
for like being in a league or something at the park.
yeah.
Yeah,
All of those dollars funnel through the department heads and then
And
would
then
come
come to-
to a central location. And
but you're still overseeing that with ledgers and
yes,
balance sheets, all right?
yes. We're never gonna get away from our audit report that says internal controls, but this is part of that, you know? To have one person do it and somebody else reconciles and matches everything up.
Okay,
I think it looks,
yeah,
everything we discussed.
I don't have concerns.
Okay,
Thanks for.
Bruce, Mark, anything on your end?
That I want to change.
Yeah, or any
Add.
additions?
One, we keep calling it a company. We're not a company. We're a public entity.
Right,
So I want to see if we can take that out of there. The only, everything that I was looking at to change has been addressed except for one. I just want to, the new city administrator needs to have strategies to help the city and the staff run more efficiently. There have been some issues, I think, in the past, but not in a micromanaging way. Just to make sure things run efficiently, working with, bringing in the different department heads that have to. I mean, when you have a project that has 2 or 3 department heads in it that have to work with it, maybe they help with coordinating, but not overseeing it, just coordinating.
So that kind of goes to Joe's point at the very beginning, right? Is that what you're,
Not really,
No.
because, I mean, they need to know how to work with. Correct.
Correct. What's missing is the processes for how all this works, which isn't defined.
You know, they're up here, you guys are here doing your thing in there, and if there is a problem, you have a problem, Tom, they can go here. And the administrator can take care of it. But the administrator shouldn't be the one that's down there in the dirt and in the ground. And also working with, you know, internal, if there's internal strife or problems that come in, they have to have.
okay, actually, yeah, hold on, let me pull this up. So that language that the first bullet point we added at the very beginning, it's missing the piece on the process, is what you're saying.
Correct.
If we add in the word
It changes.
facilitate and track projects, then is that adding that layer of micromanagement, get in the weeds that we're trying to avoid?
That's what I'm wondering.
Right, because it kind of also depends on the individual and the role and what their management
And how
style
they
is.
interpret it too.
Yeah. But that's also, I think, our job as council members, when we interview people, we
Nip
need
it in
to
the
be
bud.
crystal clear on this and set those expectations as a council from the get-go, because words can always be interpreted differently depending on who the
Very much so.
individual is that's, you
But
know.
assume, to Council Member Fraley's point, assume like it's not Tom in the Public Works chair, right? It's somebody else that is maybe struggling and getting behind on a project.
Mhm.
Where does the accountability come through, right? From that city administrator. So to your point, yeah, I get what you mean.
I wonder if it's, because right now it reads assisting department heads on department-specific and/or special projects as needed or required while maintaining high-level communication with the council to ensure alignment with strategic priorities. Do we add in assisting, okay, so assisting department heads on department-specific and special projects, facilitating and tracking as, and adding that as needed or required. So it's not a mandate, it's just on a, again, as needed or required, or does that make it too in the weeds? I think, again, it comes down to the person.
As needed.
Yeah.
That's why we need to.
We need to be clear as the interviewers.
Yeah, so I mean, this is just a job description, but when we get into the policies and maybe some SOPs that we want to start to have within
That's where
how
it
the
would go.
city operates, where we define some of that.
So do we just want to leave it and note that we have that when we get to the process of
Yes,
interviewing folks?
yes.
But the other thing you brought up, Councilmember Fraley, which I do think is completely missing from everywhere, is the HR component.
Yes.
I did some calling around to other cities and spoke with their mayors as well as city administrators. And again, this was just their opinions or suggestions, is they thought, if you have an opportunity to find a forward-looking administrator clerk that has some background or experience in HR capabilities, that is an extra bonus.
Yes.
So I don't know if we want to consider putting in,
I would,
an
but
HR bullet point. What are people's thoughts on adding an HR bullet
Yes,
point?
I'm
Yes or no?
for it.
You're yes, you're,
I guess, yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea either.
okay. What are your thoughts? Adding a bullet, again, we don't know what the words are yet. We can always,
I would think that we'd want to define the HR, like we had our not our town hall meeting, but our retreat earlier, you know, and the roles within HR vary. And so if we have specific roles that we're thinking of, you know, if we pulled everyone here today, you know, is that payroll? Is that, you know, where's the starting and stopping point for the HR, I guess is what I'd want to define.
well, there's lots of different facets to HR, right? There's
Right.
recruitment, there's onboarding, there's personnel policy administration, there's performance evaluation management, there's employee relations, there's serving as a confidential resource, right? Like it can go as wide as you want it to or as narrow. Is it something that maybe, here's just an idea for now, because our goal is to get this job description done so that we can go out and get this firm looking, right? We don't, I don't think any of us are interested in kicking the can down the road another month before we actually get the search going. I think we'd all like to see it going if we could tomorrow. Is do we just put a bullet point as a placeholder? Potential HR tasks as needed, but to be, you know, or something like, this is not the right wording, but to be determined, and we can,
Who's responsible for hiring and firing? Right?
well, the council is, but department heads would be in their,
Reprimands.
Yeah, I think
would be in their department, right?
put something in there, but at this point, leave it a little open.
Maybe just say HR functions as needed and determined by council or
can I
something.
go back on the hire and fire thing there for a little bit? Okay. So the question came to me. Is the council, are we going to interview the seasonal and temporary? I mean, what was the exact motion we made? I know I'm going back on that, but it was
No,
what's that?
I didn't, my interpretation was no.
No,
My
Andrew
interpretation
would
was
be
we would hire and
interviewing
fire with
those
the administrative positions, not everybody in the city.
right. Well, if there's a department head, they would interview and hire their own positions and
Right.
make a recommendation.
And that's where clarification would come in with the city administrator to clarify with department heads afterwards.
Can,
Yeah, they should be.
is that more in the policies?
That would go
versus
with.
the job
Yeah,
description or?
no, not-
But yeah, I agree. That should be all spelled out because that's been gray.
right, but it can be incredibly gray.
So that, I think because what is specifically on this special meeting agenda is admin clerk finance department. If we're talking about, you know, Mark, to your point, seasonal and parks, or Tom, to your point, that
And that's going into the.
we have to have a
needs.
different discussion on that because it's
That's
not
fine
on the
with me.
agenda, so.
But
to
as
keep
far
us
as the
on track.
HR bullet, I think that should be in there, but
Can we just put for now, just a placeholder, HR to be defined?
yes, yes.
Just so we can get this posted
Yes.
and we
Yes.
can have clarity on that, okay. So, does anyone else have any other input than to what we discussed? If not, we should probably, I don't know if we want to recap all of this. I've tried to write notes as we've been going. I see Maggie has too. Otherwise, if we would have a motion to approve the additions, changes and deletions that we've made to the existing city administrator description, the finance specialist position, the city clerk and the deputy clerk, and I'm saying them as they're existing because part of the changes were to change the titles.
I'll make a motion to accept all changes city administrator, city clerk, finance specialist, deputy clerk, as discussed.
I'll second it.
Okay, any additional discussion?
I mean, I guess I feel more comfortable having them typed out and laid out for us to review and then bless. However, in good faith that this is, are your notes conclusive, do you think of?
I think between the two of us,
Between the two of us, I think we have it.
Yep.
Right.
I can send them out
Yeah.
once
And
they're
if
done,
there's,
just as a
Yeah.
one look over, and if something is concerning, we can
How
have another
specific?
meeting.
can have another meeting, can't we?
I think between the two of us, though, we've got it.
Yep.
This is a blanket statement. One thing that's not defined anywhere in here is kind of the emergency management stuff. Crow County's been doing a lot of stuff, and I think as the city of Nisswa continues to get up from that, all these different roles that we're defining will need to add stuff to their job descriptions for that coming up here in the future.
We'll note that. Okay,
Can I get a second for that? I think I just have.
Bruce seconded.
Oh, I didn't hear that. Okay,
Any other discussion?
No.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay, the motion carries.
the only thing that I will say is once the job descriptions are done, I will send them off to our consultant to just make sure that they're in the right grade and the right pay. And then I will work with, our search firm to get that posted.
Who's the consultant? DDA?
That's who did our last
And
study.
Maggie, after we're done today, I'll work on cleaning up my notes, getting you my notes, so you have everything in one spot.
So I know you typed some of those.
Yeah, I was
really nice
typing,
verbiage.
yes, yeah. So I'll try to get it to you before the end of the day.
Okay, sounds great. Thanks.
Okay, perfect. So the next item is ordinance, policies, and personnel policy discussion.
Good.
Now, this can be quite a lengthy conversation because these are extensive packets. So one of the things I did is I went through the personnel policy, but Maggie informed me this morning I used the older version. So I used the older red line version and I went through and redlined the red line version. But that was not sent to each of you and I hadn't printed it. But there's a lot of notes, and I know you had said, Mark, you had done that as well. I don't know if, Joe, you
I-
had your thoughts
yeah.
too, so I don't know how we want to handle, because this could be another 2-hour discussion.
Madam Mayor,
Discussion, so do you,
Yeah.
is the best way to handle that to tackle this now? I'm bringing this up because also we have a 10 o'clock special council meeting to talk about the spirits, potential expansion, and we do have guests here, Andy and Ted Schaefer, who are also to speak, and Brian. Do we want to spend an hour going through this? Do we want to?
Madam Mayor, I'd prefer to wait until we hire an administrator. That's where I'm looking at, to go through it with them here. But that's just my opinion.
I'm actually, from a best practice standpoint, that makes sense. I don't know how everyone else feels.
I'm good with that, with the exception, I think it'd be worthwhile for us all to outline personnel committee
Look through it.
because of
Yes.
the limbo that we are in. I think it would be helpful for us to establish what that committee is.
I just printed something on the printer, a first draft effort I made at the personnel committee responsibilities. So I just need to grab it and give it to everybody to look at.
Yeah, and then we can take that and,
Yeah, I'd like.
And
to
Joe's seen it,
discuss
but he-
this with
yep.
The 5 of us before we get somebody else involved.
Yeah.
Ahead of time, at least have a discussion, but yeah, I don't think we have.
Do
the
we
time.
come back to this?
Absolutely,
and
we don't
then-
have the time for that
Okay.
today.
So do we want to continue the meeting for like the 8th time, but maybe we continue it further away because it'll give everyone a little more time if not everyone's redlined it. And then I can print out this first draft that I took at what the personnel committee is. Then you guys can all look at that, digest that. It gives everyone some time.
yeah, I think we can set this continuation meeting at a date to be determined until we have enough information at hand. We have to set the meeting right now.
Tom, do we have to set the date and time now?
Just spin this to the next regular agenda and then it'll come up there.
Okay.
If you want to spin it from there, you
Perfect.
can do that then.
So do we have a motion then to
Yeah, give me a
move
second.
this to the next regular agenda in November?
I'll make a motion to move the personnel policy discussion to the next regularly scheduled meeting.
I'll second it.
Okay, any additional discussion?
And that'll be November 18th.
Correct.
And then
And then we can always push it from there.
FYI, I'm likely not going to be here. Well, no, I know I'm not going to be here. I got a baby coming
Well,
2
we'll
days
just push it.
before that, but, that's okay though. I'll try to give my notes and feedback ahead of time.
We can always.
Yeah, it's been,
Yep.
Because we want a
Okay.
couple hours of time to go over this.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
aye.
Oppose? Okay, motion carries. Now a motion to adjourn would be in order.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, our special continuation of the council meeting is adjourned. I'm just gonna take 1 minute, you guys, before I gavel the next one in to grab the stuff off the printer for you guys.